Wrestling fans, welcome to Fabulous Wrestling Talk WWE. Of course, tonight is all about WrestleMania. I'm going to try not to look like I'm throwing up a sign here, but WrestleMania. I think we're gonna stick with that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what
Hold on
magic trick I
a
just
second.
did,
Right.
but
Look
I'm
like you said,
Jeremy
forget
York.
us.
Yeah, right. I am. I am Jeremy York from Impact Media. He is Daniel Snyder from Impact Media, The Morning Five, as many other things as we're going to drag him into. How are you?
I'm good, dude. Good. Excited for this weekend, even though I'm going to be walking around work watching it.
I'm trying to decide. I've got invited to a few people's houses for both nights, and so I am trying to determine if I should split that up or even just watch it here in the studio, maybe.
Yeah, they're at the wrestling ring.
Yeah,
Understandable. Yeah. I mean, tomorrow. I know tomorrow I'll be in Atlanta at the Braves home opener for year 14 in a row for me.
I've been to one of those, and that was back at Turner Field. I think the first Turner Field game's the only opening day I ever went to.
Every year, but this year wasn't looking too good. But I hit 250 on a prize picks, and I said, "There goes my tickets."
Yep, guess we're going to the game. No, I got a buddy who has season tickets and he regularly doesn't go. He sits third deck right over home plate. So I'll hook you up with him or his Facebook feed so that when he's trying to dump tickets, if you can go, go.
Yeah, dude, I'll take him.
As we workshop that right on the show. But as I said, we are going to he's going to get a
WrestleMania.
lot busier now because people are going to figure out who I'm talking about. We are talking about WrestleMania XL for people who don't know how to read Roman numerals, which is probably anybody under our age. I would be
Yeah.
willing to bet have no idea unless they're wrestling fans. That is 40, WrestleMania 40. They split it into two nights, and let's jump right into night number one.
Well, when so is Friday night the Hall of Fame induction?
Think Or I know NXT Stand and Deliver is Saturday morning, and then there's a chance the Hall of Fame could be right after that, and then that would lead straight into night one of WrestleMania on Saturday night.
I don't think they'd have them all dressed up and everything. How are the wrestlers going to be at the show for the
Yeah,
Hall of
that's a good
Fame?
point. So probably Friday
Oh,
night would be Hall of Fame.
interesting. Okay, yeah, figured I'd ask that. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I know NXT is Saturday morning. I know that because that's crazy that they're going to be at like 10 a.m. But hey, I'm not the one on the card, so however that's going to work for them.
Yeah.
Uh, let's run through some of these smaller matches on night number one. There's still going to be good quality matches. Just we're here to talk about the big hits, unless one particularly jumps out to you. Let me get this one out of the way. I wish it was a bigger match than it is because all six of these women are phenomenal, but this match means a whole load of nothing in the grand scheme of everything going on. There's not even titles involved. Bianca Belair, the newest addition, Jade Cargill, who I know pretty well from AEW as far as her in-ring work. She's pretty new, but she's pretty good. She's talented. Naomi, which is I think Mrs. Jimmy Uso or Jay. She's married to one of them, but she's super talented as well. They are taking on three members of Damage Control in Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, and Ashka. Uh, any real feeling on this match?
Let's be real. This is Jade's introduction into the WWE and her introduction into a WrestleMania. They bringing her in slowly. Next year, she will be in the women's main event for a title, if not already having the title.
I think at some point we're going to see Jade versus Charlotte. I don't know which pay per view it's going to be, but I think that's going to tell you when they think she's ready is when she takes on Charlotte in the main event.
So yeah,
But
I mean, let's
yeah,
be honest. We know who's going to win this match: Jade, Bianca, and Naomi.
yep.
I think it's going to be it, it's going to be what it is. I'm going to enjoy looking at them.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of the Usos, Jimmy Uso is going to take on Jay Uso in probably a grudge match that goes back, I don't know how old are they, 37 years. Do you have a favorite Uso?
This yeet yeet I do. To me, honestly, dude, I feel like this is gonna be night one stiller. This is gonna be the show stiller. I think it's gonna be a good one. I remember the I've been in and out of wrestling over the past like 5 6 years. What got me back into it kind of more heavy this year was I think it was this year. It might have been last year. Was January 1st was day one when the Usos went against New Day for the tag team title.
That was
And
last year, I believe. Yeah.
okay, that's been 2 years. And the show that those two teams put on, like I was like, wow, wow. And I feel like Jimmy and Jay are going to be like, let's show the universe what we're capable of. I think it's going to be great. I think, but I'm a Yeet fan, and I believe that's Jay. Is that Jay?
Yeah. Yeah. Jay's the Yeet, I believe.
Yeah. Even all these years, it's still hard to keep up which one's which. Uh, but I think he wins. I almost want to say that the brother that's either a brother that's not with WWE or it's kind of right now.
Uh, let's see. I know Solo's little brother. I don't know if there's another one, but there's two or three other members of their family that are not currently signed, and actually one of Haku's kids should be headed over soon.
Okay, yeah, I think somebody there's going to be Solo might get involved here. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. It's going to make this storyline go a little bit longer. Hey, you know what? Next year this could be them two going for it over a title.
Yeah, I think Tama Tonga, who's coming over from New Japan, he's also
Well, I was
40,
thinking,
but he's related through some distant stuff there through the Tamina side of the Anoa'i family or whatever. But yeah, he's a distant cousin, and he's supposedly just signed, so I expect him to show up. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think this is one of them that could steal the show because the one I'm gonna there's a tag match that would have, but it's gonna be cut short because it's cut short every time. And there's one more that has a chance to steal this entire card, and we'll talk about it in a second. But you brought up the New Day, and the New Day is part of a six-team, six-pack ladder challenge tag team. This is it's gonna be a big spot fest. Gonna have a lot of really cool moments. Is there seven
it's not.
or eight?
Wait, are there 6 teams?
There's six
Okay,
teams, so
six,
12
okay,
people
okay, you're right.
are going to
You're right. You're
be
right. So, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you got Priest and Finn from the Judgment Day. You have Awesome Truth, which is Miz and R-Truth.
R-Truth.
You have Do It Yourself, DIY, which is Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. You have the New Day. You have A-Town Down Under, which is Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, who is from Atlanta. And that's where the A Town comes from. And New Cats Republic, which is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
You know, I feel like we get what we've been needing for a long, long time. 2 teams will win this. It'll be that way. They're going to split the tag team titles up in this match. The 2 teams that I think wins. You said Champo. What was his name?
Yep.
Tomat. I
Yep.
feel like they're too good not to have a title, and I feel like the push that the dude does this right here. What's that team?
Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne. Yeah, that's New Cats Republic. Yep.
I kind of feel like putting the titles on them two, those 2 teams would be very interesting. New Day we've seen with the title, Miz and Truth. That's about to go in. I mean, they're just fillers. Just they needed a place to put these 2 stars in WrestleMania. That's where they're putting them. Damian Priest is about to leave that group, and we'll talk about that later as well. And A Town and what's his name are also about to split up. He's Austin Theory's about to get a push that he's been deserving, a legit push. I feel like, not for a world title. But I mean, I'm thinking he's too. I mean, and the other guy is real comedic, and I think the other guy would be a really good guy. And who else am I forgetting about? I'm forgetting about one more.
Um, no, you hit all the teams.
Okay, yeah. I just feel like those two teams are the two teams that um it would be interesting to see the titles on two. And are they on the same show or separate shows?
Um, I mean, here lately they both kind of ping ponged on both sides, but I believe DIY is more Raw based, and I think New Day is more SmackDown based. So I mean, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I mean, not New Day. New Catch Republic is more SmackDown based. Yeah,
So I believe that's what's going to happen. They're going to,
I
and
I
that's
agree.
that's okay. I'm saying that's the only way we get the titles separated.
Yeah, and Judgment Day, as much as I like all of them, because I saw somebody at the Lucha show, one of the wrestlers I talk to the most, he actually watches these shows. So shout out to Angel Fashion out there from Annexation. In fact, where is it? There it is.
Oh, he
It's probably
disappeared,
gonna look
man.
really bizarre. What a magic trick, right?
Yeah.
Put those down so we can actually see. Yeah, there we go. There's
Yeah.
the new shirt from them. You can sort of see it. All right, this is
Yeah, I see.
anyway.
Yeah, I like
Had,
that.
had to pick had to pick up the new swag from them. They're probably one of the best factions in Georgia. Go to the Lucha show so you can see it. Maybe you can go next time. We'll get you there. But um, yeah, I agree on that match. I actually agree about 100% on everything you said. It's time for the New Day to kind of split a little. They can stay more together, but Priest needs to split away so he can cash in that briefcase.
All right.
Next matchup. This is the one I said if it wasn't going to get cut because The Rock's going to go too long or somebody's going to go too long and just completely, this is the match that's going to get wiped out because it does every show. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee are going to take on Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. And this should be a show stealer of a tag match. And instead, it's going to be 7.5 minutes of how much can we cram in 7.5 minutes?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of tired of seeing Dominic versus Ray. It's been going too long. It's like it's almost like he's being held back because they're doing too much with him and his dad.
Yep.
I think Dominique and them they win. There's going to be something later on that I will mention Dominique in, but we'll get to there when we get to it. But this is the match where Ray really puts over his son and passes the torch. This might be Ray's
Yeah,
last WrestleMania.
probably. I would say so. I agree with you. It's Dominic. It took a while. I thought he was just kind of a little poop. Well, I'm gonna keep it PG on that. I thought he was for the longest time, and he has grown on me as a performer. I still think they are maybe pulling Atlanta Falcons. Sorry for the shot to the Falcons fans that they're pumping in a little bit of that crowd noise that he gets so loud of boos because you hear the boos and you look around and not everybody's
Nobody
booing
knows.
and
Yeah,
everybody would
yeah.
have to boo for that to happen. And I think they're upping it a little, but he's still getting reactions. He's still getting them in his favor that they're against him, and his in ring work has really been so much better here lately. That I think when he's part of the split, because I think Judgment Day is going to split into three. I really think that's going to happen. And when that happens, I think Dominic Mysterio may be the one who benefits the most from the split.
Well, here's the thing when it comes to once again Dominic. Well, at his wedding that they booed him when he went to give his speech. He was booed. Yeah, obviously it was out of fun. Also,
Yeah,
I could be reaching here, but I'm getting a feel for his charisma, the way he started off, and the way he slowly turned it into is reminding me so much of The Rock. When The Rock came out, they tried to shove him down your throat because this is the guy, and he was so lame, and he was kind of it was kind of like this is stupid, and it
he was
turned
awful.
into yes, and it turned into Rocky sucks and die Rocky die, and then he turned and instead of letting that knock him down, Rocky turned it into it made him who he was. And I feel like Dominic has kind of done that. He's took all this booing, some of it piped in, and turned it into this is who I am. Let me take this and run with it.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that, and I like it because like you, I agree with you 110. He is getting better in the ring.
Yeah, he definitely is. And like I said, it took a while for him to grow on me, but like I said, that Angel Fashion guy that I mentioned from annexation or whatever, not only is he super cool, but his neighbor, he lives in Florida, and his neighbor is Damian Priest, and he goes to holiday parties. He knows all of these people, and he knows Caden Carter, who is in their group there, and she is my favorite member of that tag team. But he's a super cool guy. Actually, he looks a lot like Damian Priest. Nothing personal, Damian, because I would love to have you on this show too. But I think Angel is a slightly better worker than Damian. I just think Damian is a little bigger. But they look similar, but they work in the ring way different, I think. But I really think this WrestleMania is a lot about the Judgment Day, and we're going to really see where the chips fall and where the cards lie at the end of this. Everybody thinks it's about the bloodline. I actually think it's not because the bloodline will probably be there after this is over. I don't think the Judgment Day will be.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Let's see. What else can we get into? All right, we've danced around. We're down to the main event, the co-main event, and the co-main event, as I'm calling that. And this is the other one. If the Usos don't steal the show, I think for the Intercontinental title, Gunther versus Sami Zayn might be one of the best matches we've ever seen either one of them do in a WWE ring.
I feel like Chad Gable is going to cost Sammy the title if Sammy doesn't win this. It'll be because of Chad.
I
Um,
can see that.
I also feel that it's time to take the title off of Gunther and send him after a world title. Um, but at WrestleMania, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a great match. I agree 110% because both of these guys are performers. I just
Yeah.
I don't understand the thought process under behind it being Sami Zayn going for the title. I feel like there's because Sammy's already held it before, hadn't he? Or am I wrong?
Think he did back when he was doing kind of his weird military Sami Zayn thing where he was kind of looked like a almost like a refugee or something the way he was dressed and kind of when he was doing that I felt like he had and then he got screwed out of the title or something. Him and Kevin Owens had really legitimate gripes. They got screwed out of titles, lost them for reasons that they didn't at all like had nothing to do with them and they ended up losing them for various reasons. So they both had legitimate gripes. I think they both kind of got the head, got a little bit of a kickback when they won last year for the tag titles, but this really is there's so many stories that need to be finished. We know Cody's, everybody talks about Cody's story and that kind of stuff. Well, the two people to me that have bigger stories that need at least these chapters need endings is Sami Zayn. It's just kind of been left out there. There's some things that need to be buttoned up. And Finn Balor. Finn Balor was the first Universal Champion, beat Seth Rollins straight up in one of the best matches, once again, that either one of them have done, hurt himself during the match, had to relinquish the belt, and never got a chance to go back for it.
Sammy, I believe, was the Intercontinental Champion when COVID hit.
Yeah.
He refused to wrestle during the time, so he was stripped of the belt.
That's what, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Happened.
Because the other
So
person that did that was Roman, and they actually just held on to his
yeah,
spot.
yeah, and that's why he's had it for as long as he has.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I'm split on this one. I think it's going to be a great match. Part of me wants to say Gunther holds on to it. It's he's still the unstoppable force. But another side of me is looking at it from Sami Zayn's story side and like let's put it back on him, let him have a real run with it. It can go either way. I guess since I have to pick, you can't go against Gunther.
I would normally Uh, since winning the title, I think. Well, no, he lost by count out to Chad Gable at one point, or he lost some weird way. Or no, there was a time limit on the match, and it went past the time limit. But here's my thing, and feel free to throw this in wherever this is going to fit in tonight's discussion, because the way this is probably going to go is it's probably going to be two shows because we have a lot to still get to with this. But um, whenever you think the Priest cash in is, if you think it's on a WrestleMania night, feel free when you're talking about your prediction to kick it in. I mean, we're not to the world title picture yet on this one, but to me, at some point, you've got to get the title off of Gunther because
That
you're
would be the
freeing him
perfect
up. He's the
opportunity.
next guy to move up to the main event, and you got to get the Intercontinental title off of him because that is no longer the number one contender to the heavyweight belt. It used to be if you're Intercontinental champion or if they're US champion in WCW, that made you number one contender. So you could almost cash it in to get that title shot. You know, the way Ultimate Warrior did, what, WrestleMania 4, whichever it
No,
was against Hogan.
like 6 or 7.
It's and so at some point you've got to free Gunther up so that he can start being a world title picture guy the same way that given the briefcase, he might win the next briefcase, if for all we know. But Priest has to cash this one in so that we can have another briefcase match. And I think at some point, it may not be this time, at some point Gunther's got to lose that belt so he can go for the other one.
And see, I've seen since Austin Theory started the thing of cashing in on a non-major title.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually my original train of thought back about 6 months ago. Was Damien cashes in on Gunther to get the title off of Gunther without him losing in a weak way. So that would make sense. I like that train of thought. And let's be honest, until I think we might have talked about this before, or I might have been talking about it with one of my buddies at work. The Intercontinental Champion used to be the working man's title.
Yeah.
You think
You used
about,
to, if you were Intercontinental Champion, you were normally considered one of the best wrestlers in the company.
yes, Bret Hart made that a thing.
Mr.
With the
Perfect, Shawn
exception,
Michaels,
yes, all
Patterson,
the
all those guys.
came through, and I feel like the Miz made it a thing again when he became
Mhm.
Intercontinental Champion. Randy Savage back when he was, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat,
Yep.
and I feel that Gunther has done that again, and that's what kind of worries me when I think about Sami Zayn. He don't really look like a working man's champion. That's not taking nothing away from Sammy. Sammy's a great performer. I don't know. When I think of Sammy, I don't think of Randy Macho Man Savage. I don't think of even the
Okay.
Miz. Um, which is crazy that I'm saying that because 10 years ago I wouldn't have been saying this. The Miz deserves every accolade he gets. Um,
I've been a misfit since his MTV days, so it's hard for me to argue that.
okay. So I could see him turning it in here if you would have talked to me about this 6 months ago. Right now, I don't think so.
Yeah,
So who you got?
more than likely Gunther is going to keep this. It just makes more sense. And normally I would flip these next two matches, but they've already announced which one is the main event for the obvious reason. So we will, but still our show. I'm going to flip them anyway, even though this is the main event. You're going to get The Rock, and you're going to get Roman Reigns on one side. I don't consider them the bloodline because I don't think The Rock is actually in the bloodline. I think he's always been about himself. The Rock is. Now, Dwayne Johnson's about other people, but hey, that's who he plays on TV. Um, they're going to face Dusty Rhodes, little boy, and Seth freaking Rollins. And the stipulation on this one is if Cody and Seth can pull this off, which is very possible, this thing could really go either direction, then it's going to be a straight up match between Cody and Rock, between Cody and Roman. And if Roman and The Rock are able to pull this off, then it is a bloodline rules, which means it's going to basically be a no rules whatsoever. Anything can go. So where do you see this one going?
Roman and Rock win this, and it's going to be a couple things. So okay, so feel me on this. You got this. This is going to be a build. This is going to be a build here, and it's going to talk a little bit about the next day's matches as well.
Right.
So Seth causes Cody the match. It's going to happen somehow. It's going to happen somehow. The next night, Seth loses to Drew McIntyre. This is where I feel like Damian Priest turns in his briefcase, actually goes good. He becomes a good guy. Start of the split of that group. He becomes champion after Drew McIntyre. That's the first twist here. Because of bloodline rules, The Rock turns on Roman, helps Cody win the title after Seth comes down to try to help Roman win. Leads to Roman losing the title. Roman disappears for a little bit because he needs some time off. Turns into the Seth versus Cody now for that title.
Interesting. I like that twist. I have a similar theory up until the end of that. I like that twist. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into it later, but yeah, I very much think Drew McIntyre, who also has a story that needs this chapter needs an end, and him winning the belt from Seth, I think would be great. And then Priest cashes in, just like you said. I think it makes the most sense ever because then Seth can laugh his butt off like he does at everybody anyway with that little cackle laugh he does. He can be laughing at Drew. They can still go at each other for a minute until it's time, like you said, to potentially move Seth on to do something. Roman will take some time off. He's already said if Cody wins that he's gone, which means he's just going to hang out for a while. I like the whole Rock turning on Roman thing because I feel, I mean, he keeps calling himself the final boss, yet he's not the top member of his faction. He's not the head of the table. And at some point, there's going to be some friction between them because they're both calling themselves king, and only one can be king. No, but if you looked at the family tree, it was The Rock said High Chief. It said High Chief next to The Rock. And Roman's known as, what is he known as? Not the High Chief. No, he's just. I mean, he's head of the table. He's got about 8 nicknames. Yeah. It just depends on which shirt you're wearing.
Yeah. So I'm saying. So I feel like I just feel like they need to turn Seth. It's time for Seth to go back to being the bad guy. That's the perfect way to do it. He's going to act like he's sorry after they lose. Like, Cody, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cost you this match. And then he's going to come out there and he's going to interfere because once again, I just feel like there's so much going on there, and I love that this is happening like this. That's why it is going to be bloodline rules. You got to have Rock the ability to come down there.
And that's my thing. Is normally I would say I want to see a straight up Roman versus Cody to see that moment for Cody to say, hey, I beat you straight up, that thing. But I agree. You have to allow the possibility for this to happen. Just like I said, at some point, the briefcase has got to get cashed in, and at some point, Gunther's got to lose his IC belt. You have to free up the chance for chaos to happen so that chaos can happen. And the only way that's going to happen is somehow Seth's going to cost Cody the match or whatever it's going to be to where, I think it is going to be Seth do something to cost Cody the match. There'll be some animosity between them, and that'll just set up future things so that they can go at each other.
And here's another curveball into everything. Damian will be turned good guy. He's going to be turned face. So that leads up to, are you going to keep Finn as a heel and possibly Damian versus Finn for the new title that Damian holds? Is that going to be, or is Finn going to turn face also with Damian? No, that won't happen.
That don't make sense, no.
Which also leads to, you've got Drew McIntyre. You've got, with also Damian being turning face, Gunther now coming after Damian. That leads to the Gunther going after that title instead of going after the Cody, and because Gunther going after Seth, it is to me, I just feel like Damian versus Gunther is more of a lined up match. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just feel like there's so much more that can be set up. If I was one of the writers in there, that's what I'd be doing.
Unfortunately, neither one of us are because we have way better ideas than they do most of the time.
I agree.
About 5 minutes left, so let's get into the co-main event. Even though I think it could be the main event if The Rock wasn't involved in the main event, and that is for the Raw Women's Title. Rhea Ripley brings her belt, and Mommy is going to face the Man and Becky Lynch. Which way you side on this one?
I want Rhea to win, but this is going to be where Dominique and Rhea separate. This is going to be where he causes her the title, and it all started this past week when he was all apologizing and everything. You've seen it was being laid. The storyline's been getting there, and once again, this is going to be more of a way to help that group disband.
Yep.
So that's what happens. The Man on the night before the Man's Man loses his title, the Man wins her title back.
Yeah, because I'm a huge fan of both of these women. They're both really good. Anytime they're in a match, I'm gonna watch it because it's just so good. Um, the only wrinkle I would add to yours is that when Dirty Dom costs Mommy her title, I think she should just throw him around like a rag doll and beat the holy crap out of him in front of everybody.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Because it'll help
And
him. It'll help him because you can flip her face at that point if you want to, or leave her
exactly,
where
that's
she
what I'm
is.
saying.
She's gray area anyway. She can be face, she can be heel. That doesn't matter so much. But you're going to put so much more heat on him being a heel that he cost her the belt that it's going to elevate both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Man, what if all this
If
stuff
half of
really
this
happens
happens,
like we
I'm going to
said?
stick with my theory that they have microphones on me because for years I have called things like this. And when it plays out completely, I've even had my dad walk downstairs and he said, "I'm watching upstairs. Everything you just said Thursday, did you read that anywhere?" I said, "No, I haven't been home long enough to read anything online or anything." And he says, "Well, everything you just said just happened." And I was like, "I know, just a really nice guess."
It says, well, I'm saying it says two things. Thing number one, that sometimes we might know what we're talking about. Thing number two, um, it's too obvious.
Yeah.
Well,
You
it's
you
fun,
have
dude.
to always stick with that is that when WWE realizes that everybody thinks they know what's going to happen, they pull the Roddy Piper of every time you think you know the answers, I go and change the questions. And they are notorious for doing that, especially with Triple H running everything right now. So that's why don't be surprised if Cody doesn't win because as much as we all think that's going to happen, that's the perfect time for them to do the polar opposite on everything. And think about this. We got about 2 minutes left. So let me throw this theory out there. We can even continue it on the next show. Um, what if that match is the one? What if Cody loses either because Priest cashes in before or in the middle of the match or at the end of the match? So Cody loses, he doesn't get the belt. Priest actually cashes in and he wins that belt from Roman.
Or Cody wins, and then Priest comes and it ruins his story.
There you go. And then now they can go at it. And you can throw Gunther in as another wrinkle. I mean, there's so many possibilities. This is like a chessboard with all kings and queens on it. Like there's so many masterpieces everywhere.
And that's not Chris Masters. All right, Daniel Snyder 8361.
Yep. Make sure to do that. Impact underscore media underscore to catch this show and much more on YouTube. Night two video cast will be posted shortly after this one. And also Board Check 99 if you want to catch all of our hockey content. But as he said, he is Daniel Snyder. Make sure to check out his Twitch and his YouTube. I am Jeremy York. Check out all of our other amazing thing. We've got about a minute left, so we're going to sneak something else in there. But make sure to tune in, rate, review, leave questions, comments, suggestions. We'll do some sort of giveaway under here where the comments are. Not sure what, but on night two, we will talk about that. And I will give you the last 40 seconds.
Dude, I'm MLB The Show. I'm going. I'm gonna plug myself. I've been doing a lot of MLB The Show. I'm live every single day. That's DANIELSNYDER, all one word followed by four numbers, which is 8361. Watch me, MLB The Show live every single day from 11 to 2-ish, and then at night we do some Call of Duty.
There you go. That's what I would do there. If my calculations are correct, about 25 seconds. So make sure to follow him on all those things
That
there. You're going to see him on more than just WWE shows here. We're just working out all the kinks and details of that. But as we said, for Daniel Snyder, I'm Jeremy York. I don't know anymore. And this has been night one. We will see you guys for night two. Deuces, gooses.